Hello, hello. Welcome back to Beyond Broken Hungry. I'm Dara Carlisle. I'm so glad you're here. Pull up a seat, grab your water. Yes, your water. We're going to talk about that in a bit. I actually have some peppermint and spearmint tea right now. So, okay, if you have some tea, you can pull up your tea too. But let's get into it. We've got two things on the table today that honestly are kind of connected when I think about it and I kind of put it all together. This was a topic I wanted to talk about anyway, but then I got triggered about something that I saw on social media, and I actually posted on the Beyond Broken Hungry story on Instagram, and some of y'all were like, yes, we do need to talk about this. So we're going to talk about SkinnyTok, okay? Because it's back. And I've got some things to say. Wow, I'll get into it. Okay. I just literally, I'm at a loss for words, even though I've written a whole bunch of words to talk about this, but it's still just I just want to hug every single woman plus myself who is getting triggered by this or has flashbacks to, things that they were feeling when, they were raised by this, or whether, some people didn't experience the things I experienced in my household. And I know my mom tried to do the best that she could, but I was told that I was too big and took up too much space and basically fat since I was 9 years old. And I've been wanting to be smaller since I was 9 years old. And I'm going to get emotional thinking about it, because when I look at pictures of that of my 9-year-old self, I just want to tell her that she's so beautiful and she's so smart and she's so much more than her weight. I don't want to talk to you too and tell you that. But then after all that, we're going to shift into something else that I love to talk about. And that's just going to be those healthy habits that work in real life for real women with real responsibilities. No perfection required. Just show up and let's get into it. I need y'all to understand something. Diet culture never died. It didn't. It just rebranded. It rebrands every single time. It puts on a new outfit, it gets a new name, finds a new platform, and then here it comes again, right onto your For You page when you weren't even looking for it. And I will tell you exactly what I mean by this, because I lived it firsthand. Okay, when I was first diagnosed with PCOS, which is now apparently PMOS, but we'll talk about that another day with someone who is way smarter than me at all of that. When I got that diagnosis, 2009, my doctor put me on metformin. And you know who else went on metformin around that same time? And it was all over the magazines and the tabloids. The Kardashians. And suddenly, this medication that was prescribed to help women manage insulin resistance became a diet pill, a trend, a quick fix wrapped in a celebrity endorsement. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, it should, because that's exactly what we are watching happen again right now. Only maybe even worse this time. So what SkinnyTok is actually doing is resurfacing these ultra thin body ideals again. The what I eat in a day videos, and have some of the lowest caloric counts I've ever seen, and are genuinely alarming. And listen, I share what I eat in a day. I'm all for sharing it. I share my own food lifestyle all the time. But here's where I stand. I eat around 1,900 calories a day, 166 grams of protein and carbs, and then 62 grams of fat. Those are my current macros. I do have alternating days, carb cycling and fat cycling and things like that. But those are my macros. What I have talked to my nutrition coach about what is going to work best for me and my metabolic weight. So don't ask me if I've eaten, okay? Because wrong person. I eat. But I always say to always talk to a nutrition coach or a dietitian to find out what works for you. The what I eat in a day things are great for inspiration, but it is not going to make you look like whoever is sharing those what I eat in a day, right? Because here's the thing. If Becky, who wears a size 2, eats eggs every morning and you hate eggs, eating eggs is not going to make you look like Becky. What's going to happen is you're going to choke down those eggs, hate every bite, and then binge on a bowl of cereal And then blame your hormones that you're not losing fat. And I say this with so much love because I have been there. I literally have been there. In fact, if you've been following my socials in the past couple of weeks, you've watched me deal with the egg ick in real time, right? Kind of picked it up out of nowhere. I was eating eggs for breakfast at some capacity, whether it was just like an over easy egg or scrambled eggs or egg muffins or whatever the case was for like a year and a half. And I was literally telling my husband the other day, like, oh, I'm surprised I've been eating eggs so much. Like, I wonder when the shoe's going to drop. And then like 2 weeks later, I took a bite of eggs and I was like, I can't do it. So I've been experimenting with new breakfast options, and some of y'all have been really great. You've been sending me some different things. I know one of my girlfriends sent me like her macro banana pancake recipe. That's literally just like egg whites, oats, and bananas. And I'm fine. I know I just said egg whites. I'm fine with egg whites or eggs being in things, but just like eating them by themselves, if it's not hard boiled, is just like not doing it for me right now. I did experiment with a breakfast sandwich and I had a fried egg on there and that was fine. But like by itself, it's just, anyway. So experimenting with these different breakfast options has honestly been fun. It reminded me that eating healthy or balanced is supposed to be fun, sustainable, and not a punishment. Like I'm supposed to be enjoying what I'm eating, not like scarfing it down just because they want to be skinny. Like, oh God, I wish that I never thought that about myself. But here's the piece that really gets to me. The idea that because you're on a budget, you should just eat less. Like restriction becomes the budget friendly option. And look, I get it. I know that prices are high. Groceries are expensive. I own my own business, and that does not automatically mean I'm rolling in money, okay? I crunch my grocery numbers every single week, but every week my fridge is stocked. Meal prepped meals, fruits, veggies, and some fun 0-calorie drinks for when I want something sweet without the treat. You know, I shop at Walmart, I shop at Aldi, I hit up my local farmers markets, and honestly, the most money I spend when I go grocery shopping is on the processed pre-made stuff. So let's find a new argument because eating well on a budget is absolutely possible. And I say this, I just want to disclaim here that I know that I do not have children, but I do buy groceries and prep food for 2 people. So it's not just myself. I'm not just making my own food and I don't have any other people to be responsible for. Right now, I do have myself and my husband, and he eats what I prep or he can make his own food. And guess what? He's not going to do that. So he eats what I make. And every week I make 10 meals. That is just our lunches. 5 lunches for Doug, 5 lunches for me. And the reason why I prep in full lunches because the busiest part of the day is typically the afternoon, right? You're in meetings, you've got phone calls, you've got places to go, people to see, you know, like a gym class or your kid's field trip or whatever the case is. So when I'm taking a break from work because I'm working on something and it's time for lunch, like I don't want to have to think about what am I going to eat for lunch? Where am I going to go? What am I going to cook? Like it's just grab the Tupperware marked Tuesday. Like and it's Tuesday, so that's what I'm going to eat. Like it doesn't take like any emotional effort. It's just like, okay, this is what I'm eating today. Let's go. And I do the same thing with like my cottage cheese snack as well. That's usually like either I eat that with lunch, like right after lunch, or as like a mid-morning snack. And it's already made. I just grab it, I eat it, and that's that. Now, like I will chop up vegetables or at least like prep them. I do make a big thing of rice because we eat a lot of rice in this house. So those things are kind of like I can grab and go. I hard boil my eggs. Doug packs his snack packs. I make him do some work. And then I just keep my hard boiled eggs in a Tupperware. And then when it's time for like my afternoon snack, I'll grab them. Now, if I know that I work from home, so if I know that I am going to be out and about around the time I normally eat my afternoon snack, then I'll pack it. So, it's prepping things. And like maybe if it's easier for you because you do work in an office and you have to have it, you either pack your lunch the night before and have that all done. But it makes it possible if you plan it well. I keep going back and forth on making a vlog for meal prepping. I've definitely gotten the content, but it's like editing it that I just don't know that I have the energy for. But like I really walk you guys through like what I meal prep and how I meal prep and just like how the day goes. And it does take a good couple of hours, but honestly, setting myself up and my house up for success, it saves me so much time in the long run. So anyways, moving on. So here's what SkinnyTok is not going to tell you, that restriction plus stress plus cortisol equals your body fighting back every single time. I was the I can't eat that girl for a long time and life was miserable. and then I would binge. And I've been pretty open about my eating disorder, the cycle of binging and purging, the way I'd undo the things I ate that I didn't deem healthy enough. And you know what I got from that? My gut is wrecked. I deal with GI issues that are a direct result of those choices, amongst other things. But if I could go back and sit with that version of me, the one starving herself, trying to feel worthy, the one that only felt like she was getting any love or uplifting at any sort if she was losing weight, the only one that would get comments on how I was looking if I looked pretty is, oh, you lost weight. Yeah. I would hold her and I would tell her that she didn't have to do any of that to be enough. I would tell her that. And I would also teach her how to eat instead of just telling her to stop putting food in her mouth. But that is something we're working on in therapy. I also have to say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Finding my identity in the Lord has changed this journey for me. I still struggle, and I make a lot of jokes about my struggles because it just helps me cope. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's all figured out. But knowing whose I am, knowing that He made me fearfully and wonderfully, that changes the way I see myself when the mirror and the algorithm tries to tell me otherwise. Psalm 139:14, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. I literally have that written on my mirror in my bathroom to just remind myself, because I need that reminder every single day, multiple times a day. But it really, really helps, because even though I struggle, the way that I view myself and the way that I love myself, because I finally decided to stop looking at myself through the lenses of the world and started looking at myself through the lenses of the Lord, game changer. So now that we're talking about, ways that we think about ourselves, let's think about the mental energy that takes on average. This is just a quick Google search about how much women think about food and their bodies and blah, blah, blah. On average, it's about 40 minutes a day of what food they should eat, their bodies, what they should or shouldn't eat, about food in general. That sounds like nothing when you do the math. Oh, it's 40 minutes a day, like whatever. That's 280 minutes a week, 1,120 minutes per month, and over 14,000 minutes a year just gone, spent on shame, comparison, and obsession. What if we redirected even a fraction of that? What if instead of spending 40 minutes picking apart our reflection, we spent 5 of them grounding ourselves in who God says we are? That is a mind renewal. That is transformation. That is Romans 12:12 in action. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So who's profiting off of your self-hatred? Every single company selling you the lie that you are not enough benefits when you do not love yourself. Now listen, I take supplements. We all need things our food alone can't give us. That's real. There's things that our body needs that sometimes people have a deficiency in. Like, I've gotten blood work done. I have a deficiency in vitamin D, so I take vitamin D. Okay, like, I get it. On the same page? Okay. But when you're chained to a medication or the quick fix pill or powder or whatever it is that you can't stop without gaining everything back, you are spending thousands just to stay in the same place, mentally, emotionally, and physically. There's a fraction of that cost available to you in sustainable natural habits, and the return is so much greater. And this is the last thing I'll say on this for this podcast episode, but I'm quite sure we'll talk about this again. You don't have to be seeking SkinnyTok for it to find you. The algorithm will bring it to you. So my advice, when it pops up, don't engage. Close the app and open your Bible. Find the true source of love and beauty and truth, because it's not on TikTok. I promise you that. So now we're going to talk about what actually works and some practical steps that you can take to try to get out of this mindset that, oh, SkinnyTok is back, I need to be skinny, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're not struggling with this, but maybe you have a friend that is, okay? Maybe you have a daughter that is. Maybe you have a mother that you are healing yourself but still has those mindsets that's draining you and bringing you down. Like, I can relate. I need you to hear me before I get into this list. Like, this is not a wellness influencer checklist, okay? This is for women with jobs, kids, businesses, bills, responsibility, and maybe like 20 minutes to themselves on a good day. These are habits for real life. All right, ready? Number 1, walk. Free, accessible, and it absolutely counts. You don't need a gym membership, a Peloton, or a plan. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars a month on a Pilates membership. Now, I'm not knocking Pilates. If you found a workout that works for you, girl, you go do it. Okay. Like, I do CrossFit, so I get it. Like, I also have a high cost gym membership, but for those of you who don't have that in the budget, or you're not working for whatever, like, just walk, go outside. You need your feet and some outside air. That's all you need for that. 10 minutes beats 0 minutes every single time. The parking lot loop at lunch counts. A walk around the block after dinner counts. And here's what I love about walking. It's not just exercise. It can be your decompression time, your prayer time, your thinking time. Over the past weekend, I went to 1122's Women's Encounter. And one thing that Allie Parsons was talking about was silence and solitude with the Lord, and how she realized when she was studying this a little bit more that she had been doing it on her runs in the morning. So I just related to that so much because I love going on walks. It's kind of the time where I can brainstorm or diffuse myself, or even just like be in prayer with God. I listen to a lot of podcasts on those walks, and it just made me realize, some of my best mental clarity has come on a walk where I'm just talking to God and letting my body move. So movement doesn't have to be punishment. It can be medicine. This could be your time with the Lord. If you don't have regular time or whatever the case is, your brainstorm time, make whatever excuse you need to go walk and get it done. Number 2, hydration. Most women are chronically dehydrated and have no idea that's why they're fatigued, fogged, or craving everything in sight and getting headaches. Your body's asking for water and you're giving it a third coffee. Yeah, here's the habit. Water before coffee, not instead of before. Let's lower the bar, okay? And then the other strategy is proximity. Put a big cup on your nightstand, your desk, the table by your couch, whatever it is. Keep a bottle in your car, in your eye line. You will drink it just because it's there. And if plain water feels like a chore, flavor it. Lemon, cucumber, electrolytes, 0 sugar drink packets, whatever makes you actually drink it is the best answer. I love Element. I probably have a packet a day. It's not the cheapest thing that I keep in this house when it comes to drinks, but I love how it's filled with magnesium and potassium as well. We're big fans of it here. I just love it. If you don't like that super saltiness, I would still recommend putting a little bit of like Himalayan salt or Celtic salt in your water because you need those electrolytes. And let me tell you, make it fun, y'all. Don't just have some boring plastic water bottle that is just like crunchy and lame. Like, I'm not trying to tell you to be out of your budget here, but go get a cute cup and keep refilling it throughout the day. I was just bamboozled by TJ Maxx. I walked in, and I don't care what any of y'all say. I still love the Stanleys and I still rep them. But the Stanley 64-ounce water bottle in this beautiful, like light blue lavenderish color was just like, buy me. And I was like, say less. So I got it. But it's 64 ounces of water. And it's great because especially when I'm on the go and hopping in and out of my car or whatever, I don't have to worry about running out of water or having to fill it up. And it literally sits next to me at my desk or on the couch or by the bed, and I fill it up probably 3 times a day, probably more than I really need to, but since I'm working out and sweating because I live in the state of Florida, it just helps. So make it cute, okay? Number 3, simple meals. Eating well is not 47 meal prep containers lined up on your counter every Sunday, okay? It doesn't have to be that deep. The formula I come back to is simple: a protein, a vegetable, something filling. That's it. That's a meal. And, I know I said that I have like 10 meals that I make in full so that we can just grab them and go. Obviously, if we had a child or a couple of children that, needed us to do that, it would be different. But then in that case, you don't have to necessarily separate every single meal. You can just prep everything, put it in a Tupperware in the fridge, and then grab it when you're ready. Or I know some women that will do like a meal prep portion on Sunday and then another meal prep portion on Wednesday when they're like making dinner on Wednesday night or whatever the case is. So if you got to split it up, do that too, but make it easier on yourself. And keeping easy staples stocked is a healthy habit. Things that you can grab and go. Like I said, eggs, canned bees, frozen vegetables, rice, oats. That's a week of real food right there. Something real at 4 p.m. beats skipping lunch and then absolutely losing your mind at the vending machine. Eat something. Feed yourself. You deserve that. Number 4 kind of goes with number 1 with walking, but just to really emphasize that movement over perfection. Dancing in the kitchen counts, okay? It's actually, I've seen stats saying that like shaking your hips or moving your hips like is helpful to relieve stress because that's where we hold all of our stress. So dance it out, girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever is listening. Walking to the mailbox counts. Stretching while your coffee brews counts. You don't need a gym or a plan, a class, or a matching set to move your body. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, you like Pilates, do Pilates. You like CrossFit, do CrossFit. If that works for you and your budget, absolutely do that. I'm not telling you to stop going to the gym or to stop whatever. And having a plan is helpful, but it doesn't have to be that deep. You know, you can have a plan. and still have something that is help guiding you to success. And so I want to make sure that we draw the sharpest line between this conversation and SkinnyTok. So the difference is, are you moving for your body or against it? This is the mindset that you have to have with this movement over perfection. Moving against your body looks like punishment for eating or earning the right to rest. You don't need to earn it. You should take it freely. Moving for your body looks like honoring the vessel God gave you. And that's totally different energy. And you get a totally different outcome. Number 5, protecting sleep. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is something that I'm struggling with and have been for a couple of months now. And I'm noticing what it's doing to my body because I'm not truly getting to rest and recover like I should be. And this is the one that busy women sacrifice first, and it costs them the most. And I've definitely been in that trap, staying up later to get more done. And then we're wrecked the next day and nothing actually gets done well anyway. So like, I'm gonna 5 more minutes. Like work on this one thing. I'm almost done. Like it has been really hard for me to say, like, I'm not finished with this, but it is time for me to go to bed. So I'm going to come back to it tomorrow with a fresh mind because I just want it to be done. And that's not a good mindset to have because then if I look at it later, I'm like, oh, there's this I could have done and that I could have done. But I was just so exhausted trying to get it done that I wasn't paying attention to how it was actually being done. And here's the truth. You cannot out-discipline a sleep-deprived body. Like I said, I'm dealing with that right now. I'm kind of struggling trying to find with PCOS, insomnia is a huge thing. And even when I have something that's helping me sleeping, I'm still not getting the full recovery and rest that I truly need. And sleep deprivation raises your cortisol, intensifies cravings, and tanks your decision making. And it makes emotional spending way more likely. Okay, so a consistent bedtime matters more than any elaborate wind down routine. And it's the simplest thing that you can do tonight. Listen up, put your phone in another room. Free, immediate, wildly effective. One of the things I've been doing is switching up my evening routine just a little bit because, I like to wash my face and I usually braid my hair or put the keyless curls in and then put my little cap on. And then I like to read and drink tea or whatever the case is. So what I've been doing when I'm done wrapped up work for the day is I immediately go walk the dogs so that they're set for the evening until it's kind of that one last time before bed potty break. I come back inside, go upstairs, wash my face, do the hair, not put my cap on so that Doug doesn't have to stare at me wearing a cap while we watch TV or just kind of wind down, spend some time together. And then that way, when it's time to go to bed, it's not like, okay, I'm going to bed, but then I still have to do all of this. Like, no, it's already done and I just go to bed. And it just kind of like, I know it seems so simple, but it really has helped like release this like, okay, all I got to do is brush my teeth and get in bed. Cool. And now my challenge to myself is like, except for the days that I coach Tuesday mornings and I have to get up at 4. So I'm usually in bed by like 7:45. But on a regular day, like 9:15 is like when I want to like take my like evening supplements and like be like, drinking some tea. So then that way, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm in bed and maybe I'm reading. And it's okay if I don't fall asleep like right before 10 o'clock. I know there's all these stats at 10 o'clock. That stresses me out even more. I just want to be in bed. And then that way I can just be like relaxing and winding down and like be in bed and fall asleep. So I will keep you updated with that, but I just want you to know that like, I'm also struggling with that. All right, the last one, number 6, faith time. I saved this for last because I really want it to land. Faith time is a healthy habit, not just spiritual discipline, an actual physiological health habit. Starting or ending your day with prayer, scripture, or stillness regulates your nervous system before chaos gets to it. It fills you up before you pour out. I actually heard this on a podcast I was listening to a couple of weeks ago. It was the Holy Babes, or is it Holy? Call her Holy. They call their listeners the Holy Babes. But I love that podcast. Shout out. If you listen to it, go give it a listen. If you don't, you need to add it to your list of podcasts to listen to. But anyways, they were talking about this idea of throne before phone. So to wake up and to immediately sit yourself at the throne of Jesus before you let the world tell you who you are or how your day is going to go. You give it to God and you tell him about it, and he will tell you who you are before the world will tell you who you are. And then that just is a huge game changer. I have talked about how I have some anger issues that I'm, still working through. And I cannot imagine how my days would be if I did not make it a priority to spend some time with the Lord before I started my day. Because honestly, it still is hard sometimes, but knowing that I have that scripture that I've put upon myself and that I laid myself before the Lord before I did the world just makes a huge difference. So the women who are constantly giving to their kids, their jobs, their partners, their clients, this is how you fill back up. It doesn't have to be an hour. A lot of Christian talk, I love seeing more people become Christians, but a lot of it is performative. And there are people whose literal job it is to be on social media who can just sit there with their different color highlighters and their hour of worship and their whole book, the Bible that they're reading before 7 a.m. Okay, that's great. Maybe when I'm retired, but 5 minutes of sitting in the presence of God before your feet hit the floor shifts your entire day. The world will try to tell you who you are. So get to God before the world does. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Put it before the Lord before the world tries to tell you who you are. Because God will tell you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made and that you are loved and that you are worthy. And the world will tell you the exact opposite of that. So go to God and then go to the world. Before I let you go, I want to pray over you. Wherever you are, whatever brought you to this episode today, I believe that it wasn't an accident. So I just want to take a second to say this prayer. Lord, I come to you right now on behalf of every woman and every man listening to this episode. You know exactly who they are. You know the way they looked at themselves this morning. You know the lies they've been told and the ones they've started to believe about their own bodies, their own worth, and their own beauty. God, I'm asking you to renew their minds. Your word says we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. So Lord, do that work right now. Replace every lie with your truth. Where the world has said not enough, let them hear you say fearfully and wonderfully made. Where diet culture has said shrink, let them feel you saying, I made you on purpose and with purpose. I rebuke the enemy's assignment against their identity because the enemy wants to steal, kill, and destroy. And if he can get us to hate ourselves, then he can get us to turn from you. But we are not doing that today. We are drawing near to you because your word promises that when we draw near to you, you draw near to us. So let this be a turning point. Let today be the day they stopped seeing their body as the problem and started seeing it as the gift you intended it to be. Let them eat, let them rest, and let them move. Let them live fully, freely, in the identity you've given them, and not one society has tried to sell them. We trust you with it all. In Jesus' name, amen. Woo! Sorry, y'all. I was speaking to myself there too. Just got a little emotional and just kind of, I don't know, the spirit just came over me, and I always cry when I get the holy bumps, so sorry. But all right, friend, that is the episode. I love you, and I mean that. Come find me on socials. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it today, and I will see you next time on Beyond Broken Hungry. Take care of yourself, all of yourself. You got this, friend. Till next time.